Alrighty, hello, my name is Dylan Hall, and I did my report on college debt in America and how students at UCF feel about the accumulation of debt. So I decided to go with a quantitative descriptive research that's aimed to describe UCF students' attitudes on the necessity of student debt. The variable within my research is the attitude on the necessity of student debt. Student debt is defined as the accumulation of debt associated with higher education, tuition that is due after a student graduates or departs from school. And my research question is, what are UCF students' attitudes on the necessity of student debt? I've also hypothesized that UCF students believe student debt is necessary. So when we kind of go looking at importance, what I kind of saw was, pretty much every UCF student has some form of debt or at least will accumulate at some point in their lives. It's a hot button topic in the news and it impacts a large segment of the US population. So I thought it's a good research topic to learn more specifically about. So kind of going a little bit more into the research itself, what I decided to do was take a survey. It's a survey of 8 questions related to different topics, such as identifying, is student loan a burden? Is student debt necessary? Is college affordable? Is student debt necessary for postgraduate? Is it necessary for active employment? Is it necessary to pay for additional expenses such as food, etc.? So these are all factors that I wanted to put together into a survey where it's ranked from strongly agree to strongly disagree with a point system of around 4 to 0. 0 meaning that you believe that student debt is not necessary, and 4 meaning that you do believe it is necessary. That leads around a 5 to 10 minute quiz survey so that you can get more information about it. And then at the end, those points are accumulated together to determine how much someone values and feels that student debt is necessary, with a score of 32, meaning that they do believe student debt is necessary, and a score of 0 indicating that someone believes student debt is not necessary, and then anything that kind of falls in between those sorts of things. So this actual survey is random sampling, but specifically what we wanted to do was look at UCF, Rosen College of Hospitality and Management, and UCF Downtown because we wanted to get as accurate of a student sample as we could. Obviously, not every student's at the main campus. And so as a result, the survey is split between multiple days, as numerous students have classes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or any other combination. So to make sure that we're being able to see as many students as possible, we did that as a way of seeing as many students as possible. And so at the end of the day, I thought this survey was a good idea. I thought it was a good way to break it down. That student debt remains a very significant issue for a lot of Americans. And I thought, UCF being one of the largest campuses in the United States, it's a good sample size for how students across the country feel, and that these attitudes can be extrapolated. And the reason why I thought a survey of this kind on this topic would be good is because the results of a potential survey like this could yield benefits to policymakers as well as university heads, things like that, to determine things like costs, things like tuition. When you look at student debt as a whole, and it's kind of more in my literature review, what you see is as students began to enroll more and more in higher education after World War II, a lot of these institutions became for-profit, a lot of these institutions privatized, and as a result, tuition continues to rise in a lot of places in the United States, as well as cost of living, things like that. And as a result, students are accumulating more debt. It remains a very prominent issue. Even right now, there's litigation regarding student loan relief at the federal level and how that impacts millions of Americans, both currently in school and those outside of it. But at the end of the day, it's a survey that helps kind of extrapolate information that can be used to help in the future. I thought UCF's a good sample size. But yeah, that's pretty much my presentation. Thank you for listening.